Good evening, everyone, and Namaste. Welcome back to the Asana Sana Yoga studio. My name is Sana, and this evening we are here for our wonderful late night flow. So let's all get started here. We're just going to meet here sitting on the mat, and we're just going to rest here, easy seat. Go ahead and cross your legs, crisscross applesauce, however way that you normally do them. And we're just going to take 3 deep inhales, starting through our nose, out our mouth as we shut our eyes, just centering ourselves, getting ready to start this wonderful class. So let's take our 3 deep inhales. And we are here and we are centered in class. And as you know, this late night class is usually a more gentle class, a little bit more freer flowing, more towards the yin side than the vinyasa power side. So let's set our intentions this evening before we start class. Let's close our eyes and just give ourselves a thought of what we would like to get out of this class for this evening. And I will share with you mine. I would love to just have a wonderful, peaceful flow with you all this evening as we share and while away the late night hour. And then I hope that you all enjoy what I've put together this evening. So without further ado, let's start our warm-up. Let's start by just inhaling through our nose, exhaling through our nose, and just start gentle yesing and nose. Yes, gently and no. Let's rock our heads with yes, gently from side to side with no. Give it a circle going one direction. And slowing it down to center, circling it the other direction. Let's go back to saying no once more. Make sure you breathe your natural cadence of breath. Now let's nod our head yes. Let's inhale those hands up into the sky, clasping them together. Let's bring them on the back of our head as we gently nudge our chin to our chest, giving that nice stretch. And let's hold here for about 3 breaths, just in through the nose, out through the nose. You don't want to yank your head forward. It's just a gentle stretch in the back. So you can feel it your back of your neck and your upper shoulders, your traps begin to stretch. Last breath. Release. Bringing your head up. Center. Excuse me. The late night hour does get me. Let's roll those shoulders. Rolling them back. Gently slowing it down. Let's roll the shoulders forward. Let's inhale the hands out to a T, clasping them together. Let's just hold a gentle nudge as we push our head back, stretching out the front of the neck now. Keep breathing, gently holding. And while we're pushing our neck just a little bit back for the stretch, you want to make sure you're sitting up nice and straight. So you want your pelvis to be in that neutral tilt, your ribs over your pelvis, your ears over your shoulders, and just gently push up. Great. Relax. Shaking no, nodding yes, rotating one way, rotating the other. Very good. Excellent. Let's go back into those shoulder rolls here. And with your natural breath, just roll your shoulders one way. And roll them the other way. Excellent. Slowing that down. Let's inhale our hands out to a T once more. And bring that right arm up. Exhaling, let's use our left palm to kind of gently stretch our shoulder. Taking another inhale, let's exhale as we use that left palm to gently help slide the body over as we do a nice side stretch as we stretch our shoulder. And just easily breathe while we hold. No need to get all the way to the floor just yet. We've just started. All right, let's inhale, coming back up to center, and inhale those arms out to a T. Let's exhale, bringing those hands up. Taking an inhale, exhale as we stretch that arm. Inhale once more, exhale, coming over to the side for that side stretch. Just breathe. Let's inhale our hands out. Very good. Now from here, let's flip our legs around. So whatever you had leg was on the top when you crisscross, just switch your legs. And from here, we're going to inhale those hands out. And then we're going to go ahead, taking our right hand, we're going to take our head, exhaling, bringing that right ear to that right shoulder. And then you can use your hand either out to a T or you can bring it down gently on a 45-degree angle as we allow our arm to stretch out at our shoulder. Feels really nice. And this is nice to do if you sit on the computer a lot or you're on your texting or if you're sitting in a strange position like I am on the couch most days. It certainly helps. Inhale, bringing those arms out to a T again. Let's exhale, bringing that left ear to the side, using our left hand to gently guide it to the other side. And I'm going to drop my arm down at a 45 degree. It gives it a nice stretch. Feels really, really good. And let's inhale everything coming back up to a T. Let's bring our right arm to the back, taking that left palm. Let's gently pull as we exhale, stretching that right front shoulder. And just breathing here. Let's inhale out to a T. Exhale, bringing that left arm out this time, pulling it behind the back as we stretch our shoulder. Just a gentle stretch. Excellent. From here, let's release the arms and just give them a little wiggle. Awesome. And for our last warm up here, as we wiggle out our arms, let's go ahead and keep ourselves here. What we're going to do in our arms is we're just going to send our arms out to the side, and then let's bring our right arm over in front, directly in front of us, and our left arm over top, bringing our arms into that twist, coming into eagle pose, stretching the shoulders the opposite direction. And we're just going to hold here for a few moments and breathe. Excellent. Let's exhale, bringing those arms out to a T once more. This time, let's bring the left arm on the bottom, right arm on the top, coming into those eagle arms. Go Virasana. Really stretching out that bicep, the tricep on the right side, your shoulders. It feels very good. Excellent. Let's shake out our arms. Wonderful. Great. Well, let's get with our sun salutations. Let's meet up at the top of the mat, however you get up here. Easy. Easy does it. From here, let's stand at the top of the mat and let's make sure that we're nice in our proper alignment. So you want to take your fist and just give a gentle kind of look-see to see if your feet are about hip width apart. You could also check hip width by using your hands and doing this way. I like this nice little visual cue. It works perfectly for me. From here, you want to make sure your knees stay over your ankles and your hips are over your knees. You're not falling too far forward or too far back. You want to keep our spine here in that neutral tilt and make sure that your pelvis is tilted forward as well. A lot of times we end up standing like this, especially if we have children or if we stand a lot or sit a lot during the day, we ended up kind of flexing our body. So you just want to make sure that you tilt yourself here so that your hips are nice and square to the ground, and bring your chest here, your sternum right over, and your ribs right over your hip bones, rolling your shoulders up and back, sending them down the back. They should be directly over your hips here, and then you want to make sure that your ears are over your shoulders as well, and keeping your chin up in a nice neutral, looking straight ahead. So let's get started. Let's inhale those hands up to the sky. Exhale, coming into that chair pose. We're going to inhale, swooping forward, coming into that swan dive, placing our hands on the mat. Let's take a gentle step back as we come into our plank. Inhale, vinyasa down. Inhale, coming up into our upward dog or cobra, whatever works for you. Remember, cobra is on the forearms, so we're still warming up our spine. Let's inhale, curl those toes. Exhale, sending the toes and the hips back up into the sky. We're exhaling into that downward dog. Let's walk out the feet from here. Just warming up the back of the legs and the calves, every part of the body. Excellent. Let's slow it down. Let's take a walk up to the front of the mat with our feet, meeting our hands. Inhale here. Let's come halfway, standing flat back. Exhale back down on the mat. Inhale those hands back up to the sky. Exhale, coming in prayer pose. Wonderful. How is that for your first sun salutation? And I bet you didn't know there was two. This is Sun Salutations Day, so let's get started with the next flow. Let's come back to the top of the mat. I just like to walk to the other side. It's a thing that I do. Inhale, let's send our hands up into the sky. Exhale as we come down into our chair pose. Inhale, coming up, swan diving, bringing our hands to the mat. Let's inhale, looking halfway, flat back. Exhale, placing your hands flat on the mat. Let's take a step back, coming into that plank and vinyasa down. Inhale, coming into that upward dog or cobra, or even seal pose, whatever works for you. Curling those toes. Let's inhale. Exhale, sending the hips straight up to the back of the sky. Let's walk out our legs once more, just opening up that back fascia, making sure that our legs are nice and warmed up before we enter into our flow. And from here, let's take a step forward, walking to the top to meet our hands at the mat. Inhale halfway. Exhale, send your hands flat down onto the mat. Let's inhale, coming up to the sky. Exhaling, bringing your hands into prayer pose. Coming back up to the top of the mat. Let's do that once more. Inhale, sending your hands really up into the sky. Let's give a really big stretch here. Kind of come up on your toes a little bit. Roll out your toes if you can, if it's within your practice. If not, bring your toe out to the front. Let's rotate that around. Get the other one going. Don't forget to go the other direction. Let's see if I can get that one going the other direction. Excellent. Stretching, stretching, stretching. Oh, that sounds good. All right. Remember, inhale once more. Exhale, coming to that chair. Inhale as we come up. Exhale, coming, bending forward fold. So we just stretched out our whole body and we're meeting here down in the forward fold. Inhale, coming halfway with your flat back. Exhale, placing your hands on the mat. Let's take a step back, coming into that plank. Inhale, exhale your way down, coming up as we take an inhale into that upward dog. Let's curl those toes back as we exhale, sending our hips up into the sky, walking out those feet. Let's inhale, send that right foot up into the sky. Exhale, placing it down. Let's drop that back foot on an angle, matching our heels together as we inhale, bringing our arms up. we're going to keep our back foot, going straight, coming up into our warrior one. And from here, you can bounce that out just a little bit to wake up your legs. Excellent. Inhale. Let's send our hands back down to the mat, taking a step back. Come on down. Inhale up to your up dog. From here, let's curl those toes. Exhale, sending the hips straight into the back of the mat. Guess I don't need my glasses today. Into the back of the mat as we walk out our feet. Let's send that left leg up into the sky. Exhaling, placing it down on the mat. Bringing yourself forward, coming up for our warrior one. Bouncing here, feeling really good. Let's inhale, exhale those hands back down onto the mat. Taking a step back, coming back down into our plank. Let's inhale, coming on up into our downward dog. From here, let's inhale, curling those back feet. Exhale, sending our feet up into the sky, our hips up into the sky. We're going to come here. We're going to skip, hop, or jump. Hands to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway forward fold. Exhale, let's come all the way down. Let's bring an inhale, bringing those hands all the way up, coming down into prayer. Excellent. Let's really get into the warm-up here. Feel that sun salutation waking up our body so we're ready to get into this flow. All right, back at the top of the mat. Inhale the hands up. We're going to exhale, come into that chair. We're going to hold it just for a moment. Inhale, sending the legs up. Exhaling, coming to our Swan Dive. Inhale, look at yourself, flat back. Exhale, place your hands on the mat. Take a step back, coming on down. Inhale, exhale as we come into our upward dog. Curl your toes. Exhale, sending them back into that downward dog. From here, let's inhale that right foot up to the sky once more. Exhale, placing on the mat, this time dropping the foot on an angle. We're going to come on up into our warrior one. You want to make sure when you're in your warrior one that your knee doesn't go over your toes. You want to make sure you keep them behind and that your toes and your knees are always pointing in the same direction. Excellent. Let's inhale as we cartwheel our hands down to the mat. Exhale, take a step back. Inhale, exhale down to plank. Come up, upward dog. Let's curl those back toes. Exhaling, sending our hips back to the mat. Let's inhale that left foot this time. Coming into the front, dropping that right foot. Bringing the hands up, coming down into warrior two. Remember, keep your toes behind your knees, and your toes and your knees should be going in the same direction. Inhale, let's cartwheel ourselves back down to the mat. Here we go. Inhale, exhale, come on up to upward dog. Let's curl our toes, sending our hips back onto the mat, walking them out. From here, let's hop, skip, or jump to the top of the mat to meet the hands. Inhale, flat back, exhale down. Inhale, come on up. Exhale into prayer pose. Last sun down to make sure we really have everything going before we get into this flow. Not like it's going to be too taxing, but you never know. So from here, let's start once more. Remember your intentions for this flow. Let's keep ourselves moving. Inhale, sending our hands up into the air. Exhale, let's swan dive, coming into that forward fold. Inhale, coming halfway. Exhale, placing the hands back on the mat. Taking a step back, coming into our plank. Let's come on down to the mat. Inhale, looking forward into our upward dog. Let's curl the toes. Exhale, sending the hips to the back. Right here, we're going to inhale that right foot up into the sky. Exhale, placing it down, dropping that foot on an angle once more. Inhale, coming up. And instead of coming into our warrior two, straighten that front leg. Let's come into our humble warrior. Let's just breathe here for a moment. And let's go over what's happened so far in class. Really thank our bodies for what it's done. Feels really good. Excellent. Let's cartwheel those hands forward as we come back down to the mat, taking a step back. Inhale, exhale yourself down, coming up. And let's curl those toes, taking a deep breath in. Exhale, sending our hips up to the sky. We're just going to send this time the left leg up. Exhaling, placing it between those hands or nearabouts. Dropping that back foot. Inhale up, sending this time the right hand down. Exhaling, coming into humble warrior or reverse warrior. Reverse warrior. Feeling good. Excellent. Let's cartwheel coming down onto the mat. Take a step back. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, let's come up. Very good. Let's curl up those toes. Exhale, sending the hips back to the mat. We're just going to hop, skip, or jump to the front. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, let's come down. Let's hold here for a minute. And then start to just slowly, if it's within your practice, moving your hips back and forth. If you're not feeling this today, if you have a block available, you may also use a block or even a chair if you'd like to kind of just sway out your hips. Where it just kind of opening up our hips, warming up the rest of the body. Some parts of our body warm up better after we've moved them. I like to think the hips are one of them. It's kind of hard to move your hips stiffly around when you haven't been moving all day, so I like to give this just a nice little feeling. Excellent. And if it's within your practice, you can go ahead and grab your elbows today. Fully ragdoll yourself. Let your low back feel it. Excellent. Let's bring ourselves to stillness. Coming down to the mat, slowing down. Inhale, look up halfway once more. Exhale down. Inhale, bringing the hands all the way up. Exhale, coming into prayer pose. All right, wonderful. Well, I have excellent news. The rest of it is not really going to be much standing. We're going to do most of it on the mat this evening. So let's meet each other down there. Let's meet each other actually down and laying. Let's get down on our back here. Oh, excellent. I like to always give myself a nice little stretch when I come down on the mat. So from here on the mat, if you have a yoga strap or a scarf that you can even use, you can definitely use that as well. But from here, what we're going to do is just inhale the foot up to the sky and grab on to your shin or your calf. If it's within your practice, take your peace fingers and go ahead and grab your big toe. But we're going to hold this pose, warming up that hip, opening up that hip. This is going to be very much a hip flow kind of a opener, kind of a flow. So gently take your foot and your leg, whichever you're grabbing onto, and just gently massage that hip. And we're going to hold here for about 5 breaths. So go ahead and breathe. Feels really nice. Go ahead and straighten and bend the leg a little bit, working up that hip, pulling your knee up into your shoulder, feeling it open up. Individually caring for each hip today, which is going to be real nice. All right, let's take that last inhale, exhale. Exhale that leg flat down onto the mat. All right, let's bring our feet flat to the mat now. And let's continuing on our right hip, let's take our right ankle and place that right on top of our left knee. And from here, let's bring our hips up, keeping that foot parallel, the leg for your left, parallel to the floor. Flex your left leg, and let's floss our arms through our legs here. And grabbing palm over palm, we're just going to inhale. And as we take an exhale, we're just going to pull our leg into our chest for that reclined pigeon pose. And with each exhale, we're going to hold here for 5 breaths. Just see if you can pull a little bit further. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's real nice. And keep breathing. And if it feels like a little painful or you're not really like it's very uncomfortable, just loosen up a little bit. Place the leg down if you need to. Excellent. Keep holding, just checking the time. Doing good. From here, let's take our last inhale. Exhale, pull everything in tight, getting that piriformis from the bottom. Really taking the time to feel that nice, delicious stretch in the leg. Inhale one last time. Exhale, releasing the foot, releasing the leg, bringing everything to the mat. And let's just for a moment wiggle out our legs. Oh, gosh, I love a good hip opener. I'm really excited. Okay, from here, let's inhale, bring ourselves back up to seated. We're going to come into Cobbler's pose, just about. So this, with the left leg, we're going to get the left leg on the bottom here, but take our right leg. What we're going to do is just scoop it up gently, placing the foot and the left elbow and the knee, your right knee, into your right elbow. And we're just going to come into our baby cradle pose. And I like to just keep my fingers interlaced, but it's fine if you hold them over just like that. And we're just going to hold this, gently working that right hip back and forth. And you don't want to jerk your leg too fast, and you don't want to move it around. You just move it around too suddenly. You just want to work it just a little bit as we open up our hip. Feels really good. Sometimes it's a crack when it happens too. And make sure you're breathing while you're doing this pose. We can open up our hips, but it's wonderful to breathe at the same time. Excellent. Slowing down. Let's gently release our leg to the mat here. And from here, let's come into our tabletop pose. Coming into tabletop is just the same as standing. So we can start on our knees here. We want our hips over our knees, just like before, keeping our legs parallel to the mat. We want to make sure that pelvis is tilted, ribs are in, shoulders up and back, ears over shoulders, coming into tabletop. The only difference is all you have to do is make sure you keep your wrist under your elbow, under your shoulder for that nice support, spreading out your hand, cupping the floor so that we're nice and supported. And from here, we're just going to do a couple of fire hydrant kicks. We're going to shift our weight over to our left leg here, bringing up our right leg, and we're just going to inhale, bringing that inhale up, exhale, coming down. And if it is within your practice, you may also hold your leg out like this as well. You can tap it, or you can just keep it up to hold it. However works for you. This is a gentle flow process today. We're just opening up our hip. So I will tell you, though, we do have a few more seconds to go. So just keep breathing, moving your hip around as you'd like to open up that hip. The key point is to open up the hip. Excellent. And let's take that last inhale, and let's exhale, bringing everything back down into the mat. Very good. For this next one, you may need a block. We're going to come back down onto our mat on our tummies. From here, we're going to keep our arms by our side, and as we inhale, we're just going to lift up our chest and our legs, sending our arms back, coming into Locus Pose. And if you'd like, you can go ahead and use a block underneath your chest here for added support, or a pillow if you have one. So from here, let's all inhale, holding up. And this just helps to anti-stretch from the other side of our hip as well. Don't worry about holding it too hard or too high up. Just be relaxed, keeping our breath, breathing naturally. If it isn't within your practice to hold your legs up, you could also lower your legs on the ground. Just keep your chest up and open to the sky. And don't forget your block. Excellent. Let's take our last inhale in our Locus Pose. Exhale, coming down to the mat. Just hang out here for a moment. Relax. Release the body. Kind of let everything just kind of relax for a moment. Not holding so tense. It's nice to feel the muscles relax. Excellent. From here, let's bring our hands right under our shoulders. Our palms right under our shoulders here. We're going to curl up our toes, push ourselves up, tabletop, taking an inhale and a break here for a hot second. Exhale, pushing up into that downward dog. And really walk out your feet here too, because we have been doing a lot of hip openers here. So we just want to make sure that we're opening up that leg, getting it nice and relaxed as we work on our pigeon flow or hip opening flow. Excellent. Slowing it down, let's inhale, bring that leg up to the sky. Let's exhale, bringing the foot down to the mat. Let's come up into our warrior one once more. And this time, let's settle down into our warrior one and just hold here and breathe. Two more breaths. And on that last exhale, let's bring ourselves forward, placing our hands once more on the mat, taking a step back, coming back into that downward dog. And just go ahead and walk your feet out. Feeling good. From here, let's walk our hands up to the top of the mat. I'm going to turn to face you all. So we're in our forward fold. Let's inhale our hands up into the air. And we're going to exhale, coming into chair pose. And we're going to hold here, breathing, maybe moving to the music if you have any on, swaying, feeling our hips opening in chair pose. Excellent. And on this last inhale, let's really slow it down, tighten it up. Inhale, let's exhale, bringing ourselves forward, stepping back into that downward dog. Walking out the feet once more. Breathing through the nose. In this it's a resting pose. Go figure, right? All right, let's slow it down on that last inhale. Let's take a last exhale, bringing ourselves to stillness. Let's inhale that right leg once more up into the sky for three-legged dog. Exhale, bringing it forward. Let's go ahead and put ourselves into a pigeon. So you just want to bring your leg up, coming forward, placing it down on the mat. It doesn't have to be parallel in the front. You can even modify your pigeon if you'd like to bring your leg in the back up, placing that your right foot on your left thigh if you'd like. But here we're just going to hold ourselves into pigeon using a block if we need it. Inhale, let's exhale, getting into the pose. You want to make sure the back leg behind you is straight and that your hips are centered forward. So holding here, breathing. I like to see if I can get down into a kind of a reclining pigeon a bit, or resting pigeon, if you will. Just opening up that hip. Breathing through. Doing excellent. And from here, let's take our last inhale. Exhale, let's roll ourselves to the side here, swinging that left leg back to the front, coming back with legs in front of us. Let's just wiggle out our legs, feeling really good. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. Excellent. From here, let's inhale, exhale as we roll ourselves down on the mat. And we start over again because once you do it on the right, you've got to do it on the left. So from here, let's inhale that left leg up into the sky. And if it is within your practice today, go ahead and grab your big toe as we loosen up everything. Actually, let me turn around to the side here so you can see me just a little bit better. Just grab that big toe, holding it, loosening it up, warming up our left hip this time. 5 breaths. Just gently. Do not push your hip into doing anything that you don't want to do, that it doesn't want to do. And also take note about how much easier or not as easy it is on this side versus the other. I often like to see which side's a little bit more flexible. So if I have to spend a little bit more time on one side, that's totally okay. I feel like my right side's the more flexible side. What say you guys? Excellent. Let's inhale, exhale, releasing that leg straight down onto the mat. Let's wiggle out those legs. Remember, we're being gentle to our hips today, opening up our hips, feeling that flow. Slowing it down, let's bring both of our feet to the mat again. Let's take our left ankle this time, placing on that right knee. Inhaling that right leg up this time, keeping that leg parallel, flexing the foot, palm over palm behind your thighs. And just inhale, exhale as you pull in that leg, stretching out the piriformis on the left side. Ooh, recline pigeon. Oh my goodness, this feels delightful. Definitely tighter on this side than I am on the other, my goodness. Ah. Loosening up that pigeon, loosening up that hip, that piriformis, actually loosening up your lower back a little bit. Make sure you're breathing within your natural cadence of breath. You're doing good, everyone. You look great. All right. Let's get that last really good stretch. So nice. Inhale, exhale, release. Feet, legs to the mat. Shake out the legs. Excellent. From here, let's meet all the way up here and seat it again. Keeping your right leg this time, just kind of a figure four on the mat. We're going to take that left leg. We're going to put our left knee in our left elbow and our left foot in our right elbow, coming into that baby cradle pose. And you want to make sure you're not hunching over for this one. If it's not within your practice to bring your leg all the way up, you can start here and just move it right up on. The point is to keep yourself in proper alignment so you're not hurting yourself. Yoga isn't about being flexible. It's about what you learn on the way in that pose. So if this is what you can do today, please just do that. That's totally cool. You're still getting the same exact benefits. And maybe one day, if you with enough practice, you can definitely get up to this point. Heck, at some point with enough practice, I can throw my leg over my head. Today is not that day, and I'm okay with it. I really am. Excellent. And let's slowly release, having opened up that hip. Wonderful. From here, let's get into our tabletop once more. And don't forget your proper alignment. I won't go over it again. From here, we're going to just go ahead and start our fire hydrant. And again, you can hold your leg up. You can hold your leg out. What we're going to do is just continue to open up that hip. I like to give it a good rotation one direction and then rotate it the other direction. Really opening up that hip. Feeling it open. Because we're sitting all day, it's really nice to kind of be gentle on ourselves here. And if you have any lower back pain, sometimes it's actually your hips that are tight. Awesome. On that last inhale, let's slow everything down. And exhale, coming back to our tabletop here. Just kind of rotate a little bit, maybe open up the hips just a bit. Let's straighten ourselves down, coming into our locust pose once more, laying down on the mat. And this time I think I'll take a modification. So I'm going to prop myself up here on my block. As I inhale, sending my arms back, I'm going to leave my legs drop down this time. Keeping that chest open and extending love out into the world. We're going to keep holding here and breathe. And if you're not feeling a locust pose this evening, it's perfectly fine to keep your chest on the mat. Just keep your arms by your side and breathe. Such a nice heart-opening pose as well. Very freeing. From here, I like to send out love to those who may need it and accept love in for myself. Feels really good. Excellent. Let's remove the block if you're using one. Placing our hands under our shoulders once more, pushing ourselves up into our tabletop. Let's curl our toes back, sending our hips up into the air as we come into our downward dog. And we're just going to hold here for 5 breaths. Feel free to walk out your hips and your feet if you'd like. Just keep breathing. Keep breathing. And let's slow ourselves down to stillness as we inhale that left leg up into the air. Exhale, this time coming down, bringing that leg up, coming in, settling into our warrior one. Excellent. I'll come at an angle so I can see you guys. Here we are. Whoop. Try not to fall. Warrior one. Coming down. Excellent. Let's hold here for 2 more breaths. You guys look great. All right, let's inhale last time, straighten that leg. Exhale, let's placing our hands on the mat, coming back down on the mat. Let's walk back into that downward dog. Excellent. Just holding here and breathing. Wonderful. Let's inhale, walking the feet up to the top of the mat. Let's inhale those hands up to the sky. And let's exhale into our chair pose. And we're just going to hold here for 5 breaths. If you'd like, and it's within your practice, you can bring yourself down to prayer pose. You may even also twist for a moment. Just inhale as you come into your twist. Exhale as you twist. Wonderful. And this is our last inhale, so we're going to inhale, straighten ourselves up. Exhale, forward fold, placing the hands on the mat, just stepping back into your downward dog. Walking out, feeling good. And I'm just going to turn around this direction so I can see you a little bit better when we get into our next pose. From here, slowing it down, let's inhale, settling that leg left this time up into the air. Exhale, bringing it forward, coming through into our pigeon pose. Just bringing that forward leg in, keeping it straight, pigeoning. Let me use a block on this side. I'm definitely a little bit tighter on this side than I am on the other. But keeping the hips forward, just going to make sure we open out the front of the right hip and the back of the left in the piriformis. Excellent. Doing good. Keep breathing as we push into that piriformis, stretching out that hip. And on our last inhale, remove the block if you have one. Let's bring our knees together. Exhale. Let's sit around to the front, legs straight in front of us. Let's shake out our legs for a moment. How did you do? How do you feel? I hope your lower back's feeling better. Mine certainly is. My hips are feeling a little bit more open, and I'm ready to take on the next day of working from home. So this is exciting. I'm feeling really good. All right, let's slow those legs down and start our cool down before our Shavasana this evening. So let's swing our legs around. Coming up here, if you'd like, you can place a block between your legs here to sit on, but we're just going to come up onto our knees and settle ourselves down into Hero's Pose. Virasana, if you call it. And from here, you're just going to shut our eyes just for a little bit or look down, looking away, softening our gaze. We take an inhale, exhale. Resettling ourselves, thanking our bodies for what we just went through. I mean, sometimes it's really quite difficult to get into pigeon poses. So we all went through. You guys looked fantastic, and all of you that are coming through watching this again on the video on demand, excellent job that you are doing. I'm sure I will see you all in a live class at some point, one of my live classes. So it's really great that you're joining here, loosening up those hips, really working on that. Awesome. From here, let's inhale, come back up into the knees, removing the block if you've had one. And from here, we're going to exhale into child's pose, but this one's yogi choice. I'm just going to exhale my hips wide, coming down into child's pose, lengthening out the arms. We're just going to hold here and breathe. I think I'll use my block as a little bit of a pillow here. Excellent. Let's take this last inhale, coming up onto our tabletop, simply just because I need to remove my block, but you can keep yourself extended if you didn't use one. We're going to inhale, coming up, straightening out the legs, keeping our forearms onto the mat. We're just going to come up here in Sphinx Pose and just hold here and breathe. Excellent. Now let's push ourselves back up onto our knees. From here, inhale, straightening up, bringing those hips slightly forward. Let's exhale, sending our hands back into camel pose. If it is within your practice, you may raise your legs up to grab your ankles. If it's not, you can go ahead and push your hips a little bit forward to get that wonderful bend in the back, just to help out those hips. Anti-stretching, as they call it, coming the other way. Excellent. From here, let's inhale, bringing ourselves back up to straight. Let's take our hands, clasping them behind our back. Taking an inhale, let's exhale, bringing ourselves forward, coming down onto the mat into rabbit's pose. If a bound rabbit is not within your practice today, it is totally fine to keep your arms down to the side of the mat. So that, here, let me turn my head this way so you can see what it looks like. But we are keeping our bottoms in the air as we stretch out our hips again. I'm just going to keep myself in a bound rabbit, holding here for 2 more breaths. On the last exhale, let's release our bound if you are bound. Our bind, excuse me, if you are bound. Coming back down, arms on the mat. Let's bring our arms underneath our shoulders. Inhale as we push ourselves up. Let's exhale, coming back down to the mat. Excellent. Let's bring ourselves laying flat for our last part right before we get into our Shavasana. Coming down. Inhale those hands up overhead. Really give yourself a good stretch. Inhale. Exhale. Let's take another deep inhale as we bring in our legs, bringing into our body. Exhale, drop your back of your head back down to the mat. Let's hold our legs for a moment as we inhale once more. And as we exhale, let's drop our legs, both of them to one side, coming into a lying double twist. Just breathe in your regular voice and your regular breath. Let's inhale those knees back up to center and exhale them over to the other side. Let's really stretch out that spine. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Let's Inhale those knees once more up. We're going to take a deep hug in. Exhale if you haven't already. Inhale once more. And this time, let's exhale, release everything, stretching everything out. As we release, let's bring our legs down to the mat, our hands, relaxing the whole body, coming into the most coveted part of yoga class, the Shavasana. So from here, if you haven't already, please flutter your eyes shut and lay back and relax, focusing on your breath for your Shavasana. Excellent. And if it's not within your practice today to take your Shavasana on your back, you're more than welcome to bring yourself up into a seated pose. So everyone is in their Shavasana position of choice. Inhale, exhale, and let's focus on our breath as we come into Shavasana. And it's all right if you find yourself drifting off a little bit. The point of Shavasana is not to completely stop your thoughts. It's to acknowledge that you still have the thoughts. Just allow them to be. Allow the thought to bubble up to the surface, and then let it go. If anything, come back to concentrating on your breath. And before we come up from this evening's Shavasana, I'd like to read for you a passage from 365 Tao, Daily Meditations. Today's passage is on perseverance. And it reads, "Invisible lines, the fisherman repairs his net, and the fish are nearly caught." If the fisherman does not have a properly repaired net, then his trip is useless. Preparation is the major part of his endeavor. Only when the fisherman keeps his nets intact, keeps his boat repaired, and studies the conditions of fish and water does going out to fish become a mere formality. Then fish fall into his hands as if guided by invisible lines. When it seems as if nothing encouraging is happening to us, it is important to remember such perseverance. Work may be drudgery, maintaining a home may be routine, and we may find our goals quite distant. But we must persevere and prepare nevertheless. That will bring a steady pace toward our goals and buoy our faith in rough and threatening times. The taste, the fruit of perseverance requires maturity and experience. We need to cultivate patience, planning, and timing. We build our resources even when circumstances seem to be against us. We don't neglect anything we have set in motion. If we nurse our plans through good times and bad, our plans will eventually succeed with the inevitability of fish caught in a net. And with that, I would like for you to begin to invite movement into your body by wiggling your toes and wiggling your fingers. Maybe rotating your ankles around, rotating your wrists, wiggling your shoulders, your hips, your legs, coming into full movement. From here, let's slow it down, rolling ourselves onto one side, holding ourselves into an infant pose just for a moment. And now helping ourselves up to easy seated, meeting me here. Let's take a deep breath. Inhale, bringing those hands up overhead, clasping them in prayer pose. Exhaling, bringing our hands down to our chest as we open our eyes and meet each other back here once more. How are you doing? I hope class was wonderful for you today. I certainly had a fun time, and I absolutely enjoyed opening up my hips today with this hip opener flow because sitting down is doing a number on your girl's back. So, as always, thank you for joining me in the Asana Sana Yoga studio, and I am Sana. And how I like to close is by saying, be the light that you wish to see in the world. See the light that you wish to see in the world. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And I'll see you all next Thursday. Good night. Night, everybody.